I found out my wife was cheating on me on my birthday. Birthdays are strange things. Some people treat them like milestones, others like warning signs. For me, my birthday has always been a quiet marker in the year. Nothing extravagant, nothing dramatic. Just a dinner with my wife Maya, maybe a walk afterward, maybe a movie at home with a slice of cake. That had always been enough. But this year was different from the very first moment I opened my eyes. I should have recognized it from the tone of Maya's voice. She sounded too excited, too cheerful in a way that didn't quite match the previous few weeks. "Happy birthday," she said, appearing in the doorway of our bedroom with a bright pink gift bag. "I thought I'd give this to you before you go to work." She leaned in to kiss me and I caught it again, the unfamiliar cologne. Sharp, musky, not mine. I didn't say anything. I didn't accuse her or ask a question. I simply kissed her back, took the bag, and thanked her. I had always been that kind of man, patient, calm, slow to assume the worst. If only the gift inside the bag had been as considerate. The box was small, black velvet, heavier than I expected. "Go on," Maya urged, bouncing slightly with anticipation. "Open it." Inside the box was a pair of cufflinks, beautiful ones, silver, modern, engraved with a pair of sleek intertwined initials. Except they weren't mine. The engraving read DH. I blinked, then held one of the cufflinks up to the light, as if maybe the swirl of the letters was tricking me. No, there was no mistaking them. DH. My name is Oliver Hayes. OH. There was no universe in which these letters were intended for me. "Oh," Maya said suddenly. Her face changed, only for a second, before she forced a smile. "Hang on, let me see that." She reached quickly, almost too quickly, and I gently kept my grip on the box. Her fingers brushed mine, warm and tense. "Did something happen with the order?" I asked. My voice stayed steady, neutral. "Looks like they engraved the wrong initials." Maya looked at the cufflinks again, then at me, then at the door as if someone might walk in and rescue her from the moment. I I may have grabbed the wrong bag this morning," she said. "I need to check something." Her tone was hurried, layered with something I couldn't quite read. She slipped the box out of my hand with a soft but firm motion. "I'll fix it," she added quickly. "Don't worry." And with that, she disappeared into the hallway. I sat there for a long moment, heartbeat slow but heavy, staring at the empty space where the gift had been. The gift was wrong. The initials were wrong. And somehow the explanation felt even more wrong than everything else. But this wasn't the first sign, not even close. If I were to be honest with myself, and I pride myself on honesty, I'd admit the oddities began months earlier. Small things at first. Maya had always been a fairly predictable person, in the best possible way. She liked routines. She liked finishing her work before bringing any stress home. She liked turning off her phone during dinner and talking about our day. But recently, she had changed. She'd started working late more often, too often to match the usual pace of her department, which had been slow these past few months. She was glued to her phone, not in a playful way like teenagers or bored commuters, but with a protective intensity, as if the contents might combust if she didn't watch them closely enough. On top of that, I'd smelled cologne on her clothes a few times. Not mine. A heavier scent, bolder, richer. And then there were the receipts. One night I found a folded piece of paper in her jeans pocket while doing laundry. It was from a restaurant we'd been to once several years ago on our anniversary. A romantic place, dim lights, live jazz, excellent seafood. The receipt was for 2 meals, 2 drinks, 2 desserts. I'd asked her about it, gently, and she'd said it was a team dinner from work. "Someone else picked the place," she'd said a bit too fast. "I just went along." I believed her, or rather, I wanted to believe her. And then there were the little things. The smile she'd hide when her phone lit up. The phone calls she took on the balcony in the cold. The way she now angled her phone away from me whenever she typed. Still, I never confronted her. I never made accusations. I've always believed people reveal the truth eventually, one way or another. I just didn't expect the truth to fall into my lap on my birthday morning, disguised as a gift. After Maya rushed off with the cufflinks, she returned minutes later, smiling too broadly. Everything's fine, just a mix-up, she said. I'll take care of it after work. Promise. She kissed my cheek, handed me my coffee, and hurried to get ready. But that uneasy feeling stayed with me, like a quiet warning bell ringing somewhere in the background. The day itself was normal, on the surface. I went to work, answered emails, attended meetings, nodded through discussions that didn't need me as much as people assumed. At lunch, my phone buzzed. Boutique Étoile. Reminder, pickup for Mr. DH is ready. We will hold the item until 7 p.m. Thank you. The text arrived on my wife's contact number. Maya had forwarded her personal calls and messages to our shared phone plan, but a boutique texting me about a pickup for Mr. DH made no sense. Unless the cufflinks weren't the only item intended for someone else. I stared at the message for a long time, letting the letters settle into place. DH, there it was again. Then 2 hours later, another message arrived, this time an email. Your reservation for 2 Heart, Daniel birthday, celebration 7:30 p.m. La Vela Marina. My pulse didn't speed up. It didn't skip. It didn't crash. It simply steadied. The pieces were falling into place. Maya had plans, real plans, detailed plans. The only question was whether she still intended to celebrate my birthday, our tradition, or whether today had been reassigned to someone else entirely. That evening, Maya came home earlier than usual, cheerful and oddly nervous at the same time. I have a surprise for you later tonight, she said, hugging me tightly. But we need to leave at 8. Dress nicely, okay? 8. Not 7:30, not the time in the email. She was planning something else entirely. I should take a quick shower, she said, heading to the bathroom. The moment the water started running, I walked to the kitchen counter where the gift bag still sat. She'd put it there, neatly, too neatly, as if she wanted to forget about it entirely. I reached inside and felt the soft fabric lining of the bag. It was empty, except for something wedged into the very bottom. A receipt. I pulled it out carefully. Cufflinks custom engraving. DH purchase last Friday. Pickup date, July 21st. Friday. The same Friday she said she had to work late because of an urgent project. I stood there quietly for a moment, letting the final confirmation settle. She had bought a birthday gift for a man with the initials DH. She had made dinner reservations for him. She had a boutique pickup for him. And she had planned an evening out, on my birthday. I wasn't angry, just disappointed, and strangely calm. If anger is fire, disappointment is ice. When the time came to leave, Maya appeared in the hallway wearing a dress I hadn't seen in years. It was elegant, with a soft sheen, the kind of dress she'd once reserved for important moments in our marriage. Ready? She asked, adjusting her earrings. Yes, I said, grabbing my keys. She climbed into the passenger seat while I took the driver's side. The place we're going is new, she said lightly. I think you'll like it. I nodded, started the car, and drove, not toward the new place she mentioned, but toward the restaurant from the email, La Vela Marina. Her reaction was immediate. Oh, I didn't think we were going this way, she stammered. My surprise is at a different restaurant, Oliver. I know, I replied quietly, but I have a feeling we should stop here first. She shifted uncomfortably. Why? We have a reservation elsewhere. Do we? I asked calmly. Silence filled the car. Maya, I said softly, I got an email today about a reservation for Daniel. She froze. Her fingers tightened around her purse. I don't know what you're talking about, she whispered. I didn't respond. The only sound was the hum of the engine and the soft click of the turning signal as I parked in front of the restaurant. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words emerged. We walked toward the entrance together, slowly, heavily. The host saw us approach and lit up instantly. Welcome, Ms. Hart. Your table is ready. Will Mr. Hart be joining you shortly? Maya inhaled sharply. The host smiled politely, oblivious to the impact of her words. Ms. Hart. Her maiden name. A name she hadn't used in years, used only for private reservations, for private relationships, for private celebrations. Right this way, the host said, guiding us inside. The table was beautifully set. 2 champagne flutes, A small, elegantly wrapped box, a bottle of wine, a chocolate cake with gold lettering that read, "Happy Birthday, Daniel." The candlelight flickered gently across the polished tablecloth. For a moment, I simply stared. Not at the cake, not at the gift, at the two chairs. One meant for her, one meant for him, and none meant for me, not even on my own birthday. Maya swallowed hard. I can explain, but then, as if the universe wanted to remove the last shred of ambiguity, someone appeared behind us. A tall man, clean-cut, wearing a flawless navy suit, the exact suit mentioned in the boutique text message earlier. His eyes landed on us, on Maya, on me, and in an instant, the truth was laid bare without anyone needing to speak. "Daniel," Maya whispered. Her voice was thin, fragile. Daniel Hart stopped in his tracks, his face drained of color. He looked at Maya with something like guilt, and at me with something like fear. He opened his mouth, closed it, took a step back. "I'm sorry," he muttered, eyes downcast. And with that, he turned around and walked out of the restaurant. No dramatic confrontation, no shouting, no accusations. Just departure. Perhaps he was a man like me, quiet, reserved, unwilling to create a scene. Or perhaps he simply knew that nothing he could say would make a difference. Maya stood there trembling. I looked at her, really looked. Her eyes were glossy, her hands shook, her breath came unevenly. "Oliver," she whispered, "please, let me explain." I nodded once. "Go ahead." But the words never came. She opened her mouth and closed it again, her eyes filled with tears she didn't wipe away. I waited, patient, calm. Finally, she whispered, "I'm so sorry." "I know," I replied gently. "Let's go home." We drove back in silence. No one raised their voice. No one blamed the other. Sometimes silence carries more weight than any argument ever could. When we got home, I walked to our bedroom, removed my wedding ring, and placed it carefully on the table beside the cufflinks she bought for another man. She watched from the doorway, shaking. "What happens now?" she asked softly. I turned to her, the calmness of the entire evening settling even deeper in my bones. "Now," I said, "we stop pretending." Her face crumpled. "I didn't mean for you to find out like this." I nodded. "People rarely do." She hesitated for a long time. Then she whispered, "Do you hate me?" "No," I said honestly. "I don't hate you, but I can't unknow what happened today." I handed her the gift bag. "This," I said quietly, "was never meant for me, and now I understand. Neither was the rest." She broke down then, softly, quietly, without words. But tears don't rewrite history. I walked past her, opened the hall closet, and took out her suitcase. "I'll sleep on the couch tonight," I said simply. She didn't fight me, didn't argue, didn't try to rewrite anything anymore. The truth was finally too big to hide. After she went to the guest room, I poured myself a small glass of water and sat on the couch in the dark. The night was quiet, still, almost peaceful. It was my birthday. And yet every detail of her day, all her planning, her excitement, her secrecy, belonged to someone else. A different celebration, a different man, a different future she had crafted privately. She hadn't simply forgotten my birthday, she had overwritten it. I sat there, letting that realization settle like dust in an empty house. And slowly, calmly, without anger or drama, the truth formed fully in my mind. It was my birthday, but everything she prepared was for another man. And nothing reveals more about a marriage than who the celebration is truly meant for. Dear subscriber, if you have a personal story to tell and ready to share it with our community in the next video, please write us. Our email is storytimelounge320@gmail.com.